We're coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines. The DA has announced that it will be laying criminal charges against the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Nobuhle Ngabane, tomorrow ahead of her tabling the department's budget vote in the NCOP.
There is no reason to believe at present that the accused will undermine it or jeopardize the criminal justice system. On this basis, bail is granted.
Former senior Transnet executives who appeared in court today on corruption charges linked to a 2012 locomotive loan were each granted 50,000 rand bail.
First, we must get resources flowing fast.
UN Secretary General Guterres has warned that development financing is stalling and has urged speedy resource mobilization at Financing for Development conference in Seville. Good evening and welcome to Prime News on 3. An absolute pleasure it is to be in your company this evening. I am Paulette Neo. Let's begin first with this. The DA has announced that it will be laying criminal charges against the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Nobuhle Ngabane, tomorrow ahead of her tabling the department's budget vote in the NCOP. The party says it will lay said charges at the Cape Town police station. The DA also added that while President Cyril Ramaphosa continues to take no action against ANC corruption in the executive, it will use every means to fight it. Meanwhile, over the weekend, the party announced that it will not support the budget votes of ministers it deemed compromised. This after giving President Cyril Ramaphosa an ultimatum of 48 hours to remove Ngabane, Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane, and Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation David Mahlobo. The DA says it will be an act of vengeance should the ANC respond by not supporting the budget votes of departments headed by its members.
It was the axing of former Deputy Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Andrew Whitfield, from the executive that sparked the tensions. Ramaphosa refused to budge and told the DA that he would not yield to threats and ultimatums, especially from the executive which he appoints. The DA retaliated by announcing that it will withdraw from the upcoming national dialogue, adding that it will not support the budget votes of Higher Education and Training Minister Dr. Nobuhle Ngabane and Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane.
What the DA is saying is that we're targeting specific ministries like higher education, like human settlements, simply because the ministers who are responsible for those budgets are compromised and won't know how to use that money effectively.
The Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution reckons the withdrawal of support by the DA is not an insurmountable problem for the ANC.
The threats by the DA not to vote in favor of certain departmental votes headed by ANC ministers that the DA believes should be removed from cabinet is a petty act of defiance by the DA. The DA has already supported the fiscal framework enabling the budget, the overall budget, to be passed.
Lula Mamakya, SABC News, Parliament.
Political analyst Professor Andre Duvenage says divisions within the Government of National Unity spells disaster. Meanwhile, the ANC National Working Committee convened today to deliberate on the DA's actions.
We have listened a lot about corruption and corruption allegations. And we know that the DA made a very strong point about corruption against certain ministers, also identifying the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, in this regard. But at the end of the day, this is also reflecting the racial divide in South Africa. So there are real concerns about the stability and the unity within the government of national unity. And I think I will be surprised if the government of national unity survive until the end of 2026.
For former Transnet executives Anonsai, Brian Molefe, Siyabonga Gama and Tamsanga Chiani have been released on a 50,000 rand bail each by the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court in Ekurhuleni in Gauteng. They handed themselves over to the police this morning. They are facing charges of fraud, corruption and money laundering related to a 93 million rand locomotive tender. The group was arrested in 2022 on a related but separate matter to be heard next year.
They are facing 18 charges. That includes fraud, corruption, contravention of the Public Finance Management Act and the contravention of the Companies Act. These charges relate to the acquisition of 3 contracts for locomotives in Transnet between the period of 2011 and 2014. Now, in this process, when Transnet took a decision to expand and modernize its services, there was a need for these contracts or tenders for bidders to be called and bid for these tenders. And processes, the state will prove in court that processes were flouted, hence the accused appeared in court today.
Meanwhile, Umkhonto Wesizwe Party spokesperson Dlamulo Ndlela has labelled the charges against the 2 of the party's members in parliament as a targeted campaign against the black professionals, especially those affiliated to the MK party.
Why would they have to step aside? I mean, they must go through whatever processes that they need to go through. We will make a decision as a political party in the same way we made a political decision to appoint them in parliament off the back of flimsy cases that we knew were flimsy cases and politically motivated. We're not worried at all. In actual fact, if the law was applied and according to how it's supposed to be applied and Lady Justice didn't have any eyes, then Ramaphosa would have his day for Phala Phala. So we can't be targeted, made to be seen as if, we are led by people who are criminals and they always want to be tainted with criminality. No.
Welcome back. Let's continue with this. The Community Policing Forum in Gugulethu on the Cape Flats says it is concerned that one of the 2 people sought by police in connection with the mass shooting, which claimed 7 lives this weekend, has just recently been released from custody. 7 people were killed in the Kanana informal settlement in the early hours of Saturday morning in what is believed to have been an extortion-related shooting.
Mass murder, which rocked the Kanana community, is one of a number of multiple casualty shootings across the Cape Flats in the past week. The 7 men, between the ages of 26 and 30, were socializing in the kitchen when they were ambushed by unknown assailants. The Community Policing Forum says it's worrying that one of those sought by police in connection with this incident was a suspect in the murder of the former deputy chairperson of the CPF. Lulama Dinginto was shot and killed at a home in Gugulethu in December 2023.
One of the perpetrators that are sought now regarding the matter, you will find that they were involved in the killing of the late deputy chairperson of the CPF. So now, while we are frightened, we are also wondering how was he released, and he's been released just a week before committing this kind of an act.
Provincial authorities have condemned the ongoing violence and crime across the Cape Flats. They say while work is underway to confiscate firearms, too many guns and ammunition still find their way into the hands of criminals.
Stakeholders reaffirmed their commitment to a stronger collaborative approach, integrated law enforcement, community organizations and businesses to dismantle extortion networks.
Police believe that these 2 men may assist in the investigation. Vanessa Puna, SABC News, Gugulethu.
National Prosecuting Authorities in the Free State says it could not enroll the case against 5 men arrested for the alleged abduction of 19-year-old Kamakgalaba Ukudi, as they can't be linked to the crime. The 5 men were supposed to appear in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court on Monday, but were a no-show. The teenager was found in the company of 2 men while walking in the streets in the early hours of Friday in Verpen, 100 kilometers south of Bloemfontein. Meanwhile, the bail application for the police officer arrested in connection with Baukudi's alleged kidnapping commenced today. In other news, Busiso Mngengwa, one of the accused implicated in the murder of former ANC Youth League Secretary General Sindiso Makaga, will have to wait until the 7th of July to be sentenced by the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Mngengwa pleaded guilty to the murder plot of Makaga in the Pietermaritzburg High Court last month. He admitted to shooting Makaga in 2017 in the Mzimkhulu area and pleaded guilty to the attempted murder of Jabulile Msiya, Nonsikelelo Mafa, who were in the car while Makaga during the shooting. Mngengwa is already serving 30 years imprisonment after he was found guilty of 15 charges, including murder, attempted murder, possession of illegal firearms and ammunition.
More arrests. We want to find out everyone that was involved. Police were mentioned on the case. Municipal managers were mentioned on the case. The former mayor was mentioned on the case, which has also passed on. But we want more heads to roll. More people must be arrested. But also want to see a life sentence, even if he has pleaded guilty to the case. But it's still murder. The family of Makaga will never see Makaga again.
The Judicial Conduct Tribunal probing sexual harassment allegations against Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mgenenge has heard how power imbalances in the workplace create difficulties and consequences if a victim says no. The landmark probe is investigating a complaint by Judge's Secretary Andiswa Mengo, who alleges that she was sexually harassed in the form of in-person interactions and electronic communication between June 2021 and November 2022, allegedly by the Judge President.
Firstly, it is an inversion of the relationship as to who directs or instructs and who follows instructions. So for a junior person to tell a senior person, it can be a very difficult thing to do precisely because there is that inversion. The other thing is, what are the consequences of me saying no to somebody who holds a higher position in the hierarchy than I do? If I say no, I am their junior, will they take me seriously? And what are the consequences? Can this person victimize me? Can they make my work uncomfortable? Can they ask me to go and start doing work that I don't want to do? Can they start taking away workplace opportunities from me? Can they start speaking to me in a way that is extremely uncomfortable and makes my work miserable?
Thank you for staying with us. Let's continue with this. Johannesburg's Metrobus commuters compromised a day's work and braved this morning's chilly weather to voice their discontent with the new pay-per-kilometre system being introduced by the bus company from Tuesday. They are demanding that Metrobus revert to the old transfer system, which saw them pay once, even when they used multiple buses to arrive at their destination.
Braving the winter chill to vent their frustrations, these commuters are protesting against the new automated system that bills them per distance travelled. This while commuters previously paid once despite being transferred to different bus routes. They marched to the Johannesburg City Council with a list of demands for Metrobus management.
The abolishment of the take-in and take-out system that is designed to steal from the commuters, masquerading as the best system while knowingly that commuters will be triple charged for a single trip.
Commuters also lambasted the fact that Metrobus did not attempt to resolve a long-standing issue of often unroadworthy buses and bad treatment by their drivers. While Metrobus management conceded to often below par service, they say the new payment system will generate enough revenue to address issues raised by commuters.
I said to the finance department in the city when they gave me a budget to fix the buses, I said, why don't you redirect that budget for me to buy new buses? How can I fix scraps? It's not going to help. And they gave us some budget. We went out on tender and Volvo won the tender.
Commuters have given authorities 7 days to respond to their memorandum of demands. Offenses Timo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that development financing is stalling and has called for resources to be mobilized for key sectors. Guterres addressed the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development in Seville in Spain. The gathering has brought heads of states, finance ministers, CEOs and leaders from international institutions, with the discussion set to shape the future of development finance over the next decade. President Cyril Ramaphosa has delegated International Relations and Cooperations Minister Ronald Lamola to head the country's delegations.
World leaders have opened the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development in Spain. They've called for solidarity as the globe is grappling with complex matters such as climate financing, global debt reform, and mobilizing public and private capital to fight persistent inequalities.
First, we must get resources flowing fast. Countries must lead by mobilizing domestic resources and investing in areas of greatest impact: schools, healthcare, social protection, decent work, and renewable energy.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says the world cannot turn a blind eye on these issues.
We have gathered because billions of people's and lives depend on the decisions we make these days, on whether we choose ambition over paralysis, solidarity over indifference, or courage over convenience.
Security has been beefed up in and around the conference and exhibition center. Kylie Kumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Time now to see what the weather has in store for us. Over to the weather desk.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Let's take a look at those conditions over the country. For tonight, it is a high pressure system dominating the weather over the country. No rainfall predicted. It's just a cloudy night as we move into Limpopo, stretching into that low field of Mpumalanga. For tomorrow, we still a bit of sun coming in as we move towards that interior of the Northern Cape. We do have runaway of air conditions over the Northern Cape and the northern interior of the Western Cape. For tomorrow, we spoke about a cold front that is coming in over Cape Town. It is a strong cold front. Ahead of that cold front, we do have some strong winds. We're talking wind speed of up to 45 kilometers per hour, can gust up to 55 kilometers per hour for tomorrow. It is going to be a cloudy day as we move towards the northwest, stretching into Limpopo, where we have some isolated showers and thunder showers over Musina and Palabora. For tomorrow, it's just isolated over those areas. Overnight temperatures, it is going to be freezing as we move into Free State, especially over Bethlehem. We're expecting a low of -2. 4 will be your average over Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Polokwane. 10 over Musina and Palabora. Cape Town expecting a minimum of 9, with 0 being your low over Sandland. Now for tomorrow, it is a relatively cool day as moved into Free State with 19 over Bloemfontein, 17 over Bethlehem, 18 will be your high over Polokwane, with Appleton expecting a warm day with a high of 24. On Wednesday, we spoke about the cold front that has come in. It's a strong cold front that is expected over that interior of the Western Cape, causing a 30% chance of showers and rain, getting a little bit of air support on Thursday. That is why we still a bit of intensifying. We're talking scatter showers and thunder showers because of that cold front and that trough that will be coming in over that interior of the Eastern Cape, stretching into Lesotho and Free State, and also expecting some scatter showers and rain as we move into Cape Town. Temperature-wise, it is going to be a cold day on Thursday, especially over the mother city, stretching into that interior of the Northern Cape. But it'll be a warm day as we move up north, especially over Limpopo for Thursday. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.
That concludes our time together this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, it's good night and God bless.